Well, Hannah is my daughter. She's 23. She's had asthma since she was just a little girl, a toddler, maybe about 2 or 3. She was first diagnosed. To start off with, she was really not bothered about it. Neither were we. She had her little inhaler. She had her teddy bear spacer, and whenever she felt a wee bit breathless, she knew that she would just go to our teddy spacer and have a few puffs, and then she would be okay. So for years that was the procedure that Hannah did. It didn't really affect her on a day-to-day basis at all. It was just really every now and again. And, I think she only probably had a couple of days off school in total with asthma. It wasn't really an issue with her. However, fast forwards to just over a year ago, it was Hannah's birthday, and the family, so myself, my husband, Hannah and her brother, we decided to go into Aberdeen for her birthday meal. So we'd take the train in, we had a lovely meal, a few drinks, it was great fun, and then we would get the last train home. And now, with it being the last train home on a Saturday night, it was packed, as always. And we got onto the train. It was busy, but we did get a seat. Hannah ended up sitting opposite me. Her dad and brother were just a wee bit further down the carriage. And then she put her hand up here and said, "Mum, I'm struggling to breathe. I can't breathe." Now, she had her inhaler with her, thankfully. And then within a couple of minutes, she was really struggling to breathe. And, initially I would just put it down to the fact that we were in a busy carriage. So my husband said, "Okay, let's get you to a carriage further down that's maybe not so busy and the windows are open." So up she went with her dad, and then I watched them walk down the carriage, and then by the time that they got to the end of the carriage, I saw her like crumple. So I got a scare. So I went after them. Andrew, my husband, had managed to get her into another carriage that did have the windows open. But by the time that I got there, and this is only about 2-3 minutes after she started complaining that she couldn't breathe, her lips had gone like a dark purple colour. Her eyes rolled to the back of her head and she collapsed. As a mum, to see that is scary. It's very scary. But, it's that fight or flight mode that you go into. You have to stay calm in order to do what's best, but at the same time, you're absolutely terrified at what's going on in front of you. So I dialed 999, explained what had happened. Of course, it's a busy train, you can't hear. The girl on the end of the phone, she was very good. She helped me stay calm and said, "You've got to get her off the train immediately as soon as they're at the next station," which was Contour, and it's only, I don't know, it would have been 10 minutes away, but that 10 minutes felt like a lifetime. Hannah was, she had collapsed. She was still struggling to breathe, but my husband was holding her. Eventually we got to the station. My husband had to carry her off the train, which, she's an adult, which it was really, really difficult. But lots of people just stood back and watched. I think initially they probably thought, Saturday night, young girl, she's been out, she's had too many drinks. Everybody was unaware of what was really happening. However, we got her onto the platform, and we lay her down, which now I know wasn't the right thing to do. But the girl on the phone said, go and get the defibrillator. She gave me the code. I had to run to the end of the car park to get it. It was just like a nightmare, to be honest. You know, got the defibrillator. This was just a precaution anyway. But, you know, my heart's going, thinking, oh my goodness, I never thought for 1 minute I would ever have to use one of these or get one of these. So by the time I did that, you know, we propped Hannah up, and by this point the first responder came in the car, and he was amazing. He was so good. You know, he calmed down the situation. He spoke to Hannah. You know, we just had to wait for the ambulance to come. However, he did, you know, he propped her up, he had her inhaler, he made sure she took the puffs at the correct length of time. You know, we knew that she had to take it, but of course, when you go into panic mode, do you remember all these things? No, you don't. So thank goodness for him. He was great. And then a few minutes later, you know, the ambulance did arrive. They got Hannah into the back of the ambulance, hooked her up to oxygen. They stabilised her in the back, but again, we couldn't go into the back of the ambulance with her. We just had to wait outside. And yet again, that was just the longest time for parents to be waiting, thinking, what on earth's happening? You know, you just want to be with your child. However, you know, the paramedics came out and said, we've stabilised her. I think she had, was it 10 litres of oxygen they had to give her. But they said, we'll need to admit her into hospital. So yeah, she was taken into hospital. We followed the ambulance. Yeah, and the hospital staff were just superb. They really were. And really, it didn't take that long for Hannah to get over that asthma attack. She was sitting up in bed. She was saying, oh my goodness, you know, what on earth happened there? But it was the speed at which it happened. You know, being asthmatic practically all her life, but managed to having the most serious asthma attack on a train, a packed train on a Saturday night, literally terrified us. And it just shows you how quickly these things can happen, but also the importance of, you know, thank goodness she had her inhaler with her. She didn't think that she would need it, she would need to use it. And yeah, there have been times when she'd gone out without it. But she took it that night, thankfully. You know, as a mum, that scare of seeing your child with their eyes rolled back and their lips blue is horrendous. It really is. But the speed at which the medical profession intervened, and, you know, not only did they attend to Hannah, but they made sure that her family were okay as well. Yeah, that was a really scary night. And I think, and since then, Hannah has made sure that she takes her inhaler everywhere with her. She got a revised asthma plan. She got that done straight away. She is now on not just the blue inhaler, but she's now got a pink and white one. She now needs to use a different spacer, again, which she didn't use. But if you were to speak to her just now, she would say what a difference that has made.